Hello, Bookish Baddies, and welcome back to Bookish Chaos. I'm Shay, and today we are doing my August and September reads, which is not that exciting, but here we go. If you like this video, make sure to actually like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all of your friends for maybe their next read. All right, on to the books. In August, I read I finished The Curse by Harper L. Woods. I started it months ago. Took me that long to finish it. Hated it. I gave it 0.75 of a star on storygraph because you can do that, but if you go via goodreads, it got 1 star. I hated it. I had a terrible time. There is a rant review on this channel about that book. It was out September 24th, I think. It took me months to get through, not because it was a slog or it was so long, but because I hated every second of it. The TLDR for this book is it is the second book in the series. Willow is dealing with the fallout of her opening the seal and releasing some demons from hell, and also Lucifer and Lucifer's original body, because Lucifer's spirit, well, not Lucifer, but his body was able to be brought out by his, demon guys. Because Lucifer, the morning star, is in a vessel's body. So they put him back in his body. Think when they took Klaus's spirit out of Alaric's body and put him into his own body. In the Vampire Diaries, she struggles with her feelings of needing to stop Lucifer, but also the fact that she loves him. And the only part of this book that I liked is that one specific character gets to face her abuser and is stronger and better off for it. Next, I read Lord of the Rings, books 1, 2, 3, and 4. No. All 3 books, 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. All 3 got 3 stars. They are amazing books. I love them, but they are so full of stuff. They are slow enough paced that they're kind of a slog. Not gonna lie. If you want to enjoy them the most, though, do it audiobook, and do it specifically the audiobooks that are narrated by Andy Serkis, because Andy Serkis is an amazing god amongst men. September, that's all I did in August. In September, I finished Cassiel's Servant, which by Jacqueline Carey, which is Jocelyn's perspective of Kushiel's Dirt, from the Kushiel's Legacy series. It was really nice to get Jocelyn's side of things. It helps you understand the Castelline Brotherhood better. 5 stars. It was amazing. Next, in September, I read 24690 by A.A. Dark. I was in a really big book slump. I needed something. I was like, something dark. 1 star. 1 star. So I needed something dark, and I made the mistake of listening to Book Talk, and people were like, this is the darkest book I've ever read. So, also, trigger warnings for this book, not good enough. The trigger warnings in the book are: this book contains extremely, all capitalized, disturbing situations, explicit sexual content, and very graphic language. This book, all caps, exceeds the dark genre and has been classified as, all caps, pitch black. May contain triggers for some. Read at your own risk. While I don't think that this book is very dark, I'm also able to read very dark stuff, and I have very few triggers. But the triggers that I would put for this book are human trafficking, slavery, sexual violence and abuse, pedophilia and child abuse, torture and confinement, physical violence, gore, murder, death, kidnapping, and cannibalism. Review will be up later this month for that book. I said it's not that dark compared to some other things. If grape is something that you cannot handle, do not read this book at all. But also, if you wanted to read it and see how you felt about it, do not read it after a very specific character who is very important in the story dies. I'm not telling you who it is. I'm not going to ruin that. But someone dies. And that's when the really awful grape scenes happen. So after that, don't read it. As far as the trafficking and the human auctions go, it's not that much darker than most dark romance books. This one I would not classify as dark romance, because I don't want to say anything without like giving it away. I don't want to ruin all the surprises. But one of the guys is a terrible person. But again, all of this is after the big character death. Then I read A Knight's Revenge series by Elizabeth Dear, and that is book 1 is Storm the Gates, book 2 is Seize the Castle, and book 3 is Kill the King. So, it is about a girl whose parents were murdered, and she was as well, according to her ex-best friends and their parents. She comes back to take her family empire back and get revenge on everybody who's responsible for killing her parents. This world is like our own, but the specific town that it is set in is run by 4 families. Now 3, because her family got taken off the board. I put run by 4 families until 3 of them take it upon themselves to eradicate the Knight family because they betrayed their families. At least that is their excuse for killing them. They stage a plane crash to explain how they died. Okay. They died. She did not. So she is rescued from drowning in the river and is taken in and adopted by a couple across the river, which is like the poor side of town. She gets into college with all of the elite kids on a scholarship, and it is her slowly working to take them down, which is the whole first book. The least likely person to notice who she is realizes who she is when she breaks into Spencer Tower. Also, P.S. I love that boy. He is unhinged, and he is secretly the sweetest person that anybody could ever have on their side. Like, if he loves you, he's so sweet. But she thinks that he's going to tell him that the jig is up. So she has been disguising herself because she has very noticeable eyes, and she was very blonde. So she has been dyeing her hair purple since she was rescued and wearing colored contacts. So she strips all the color out of her hair back to her regular blonde, which would not happen this fast anyway, and takes her contacts out, looks sick and hot in this dress, and shows up at this event where there's the families, and there's also like reporters and shit, and she pops in and she's like, guess what? I'm alive, bitches. These motherfuckers killed my parents, and I'm gonna blow everything up. Fuck you, and walks out the door. And the boys, you can see like the shock. There's like shock, anger, confusion, sadness, happiness, like on their faces. Because the 4 boys, she has been going to school with them, taunting them, being a thorn in their side for months, and they did not recognize her. And then when they realized that one of their cousins, the unhinged guy, realized who she was and didn't tell anybody, they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, I can't believe you guys didn't notice. And it's great. Book 2, like I said, is Seize the Castle. In book 2, she works on taking down 2 of the 3 parents. So there's 2 dads and a mom that are like the heads of the 3 families. That are the heads of the 3 families. Book 3 is about taking them down the most dangerous of the parents, and this book series is reverse harem. She does have a relationship with all 3 of the boys. I rated the books, book 1 and 2, 4.25 stars, and book 3, a 4. Book 3, in my opinion, dragged on a little more and was less devourable than the other 2. I did, in fact, read all 3 of these over a weekend while we were doing silage. So, I mean, there's that. And then the last book series, I started another series. I haven't finished it yet, so if that tells you anything about how I feel about the 3rd book. I said series, and Siri thought I was saying her name. I was not, in fact, saying her name. I started the Edge of Darkness series by Lee Rivers. I know that a lot of people have feelings about Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. I very much enjoyed that book. I don't know what that says about me, but it was my thing. So I was like, cool. I love her writing. Let's go. Book 1 is Insatiable. Book 2 is Voracious. Here are the trigger warnings. Remember, some of these may be spoilers for themes in the books. They are important if you have a lot of triggers and if you're like dipping your toe into things, they are important. But some of them do spoil what happens in the book series. Okay. Explicit sexual content, exhibitionism, possessive male main character, flashbacks. This isn't in there. This isn't in the warnings, but the MMC and the FMC do have sex in some of the flashbacks, and in the flashbacks, they are very much teenagers. I skipped the sex they were having as teenagers because I'm not interested in that. I read the parts that weren't sex so that I could have context for things that were happening, but I left out all the sex stuff. So I skipped the kid sex. Continuing with the warnings. Toxicity, sex while shooting someone, sex next to a body, stalking, invasion of privacy. Her site says borderline before it says stalking and invasion of privacy, but it's not borderline. It's very much stalking and invasion of privacy. Breath play, primal play, light spitting, praise and degradation, implied cheating, a lot of hand necklaces, and I was like, that's not a warning. That goes with breath play. Let's not make jokes in our trigger warnings. Thank you. Death, blood, gore, drug use, and withdrawals, forced sex work, psychological and physical trauma, physical and sexual abuse, not between the MMCs, or not between the main characters. But it does happen to the FMC. A slight breeding kink. I wouldn't say it was slight. And we hate the person that has the breeding kink. She wrote in here hate fucking. Is that really a trigger warning? Whatever. Rape, gang rape, attempted suicide, pregnancy loss in the second trimester, forced cannibalism, which I don't remember, character death, and she wrote accidental somnophilia, and I said, what the fuck to the accidental somnophilia? Also, what the fuck? None of the somnophilia is accidental. Somnophilia is, if you don't know, a person who is sexually aroused by an individual who is asleep or unconscious, which can be fine in the right context. We're not here to kink shame. Trust me. Seizures mentioned but not detailed child CSA. C, small people, SA. Okay, our FMC is Stacy. She is in love with her best friend's brother, who hates her because they were secretly together as kids, and then she got pregnant, and then she lost the baby, and then in his mind, as far as he knows, she cheated on him with her brother. But the truth is not that, and we find out what it is, and it's much darker and much more terrible. Here's a picture of me finding out the truth of what actually happened. Okay. She has a person that she is afraid of that she can't tell anyone about who hurts her. The male main character who hates her, but not really, has a father who is locked in a mental health facility and has been for 20 years because he did really messed up stuff, but is very mentally ill, but is also considered too dangerous to be out in public. So he's been locked in a mental health facility, dealing with that. In book 2, she ends up moving close to the place where the dad lives. Where the dad lives. Why did I say lives? I literally wrote institutionalized, where he is institutionalized while she is on the run because the MMC gets himself into some messed up stuff and she is hiding from those people. And she visits the dad every day, twice a day, and I love it. And their relationship is so cute, and he calls her little one, and he loves her like she is one of his own children, and it's adorable. But at the end of book 2, she's supposed to be coming to him the second time for movie night, and because they have this whole thing where he's like, don't forget the popcorn and the chocolate, or she's like, I won't forget the popcorn and the chocolate. I don't remember who says it. And then she doesn't show up, and he's like, something happened to my little one, and he busts the fuck out. I wrote, and she doesn't show up, so daddy breaks out of the facility to hunt for her, and he is daddy in both forms of the word. These books are fun to read if you like dark books. They're a super fun time. I didn't love them as much as I have Lee Rivers' other books, but book one was Amazeballs. I loved book one. Book two was nice because you got a lot more context. Book three was the darkest. It is also taking the longest. It's slow. It's not as fast paced in like a bad way. Because sometimes not fast paced can be good, but in this particular situation, I just want the book to be over. I know how it's gonna end. It's gonna end with a happy ending, probably. Oh God, I hope so. But if it does end with a happy ending, can it just happen already? Anyway, I currently haven't finished it because it's just dragging on and I'm not having a good time anymore. But I will talk about that book in my what I read slash finished in October video. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share this with all your friends, especially if they like dark romance books. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.